Real Madrid beat Manchester City 3-0. And I couldn't be more happy about it. Let's talk about why it happened, why of everything, and I want to place my team properly. First of all, Federico Valverde, what the man, what a player, what a beast, everywhere throughout the right wing, throughout the left wing. Oh yeah, throughout the right wing. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I just want to say this guy was in defense. This guy was in attack. This guy was everywhere. This guy was everywhere. He did everything. He even was in the left wing. He was everywhere. I don't even gotta explain what he did good. He was defensively very strong. 9 defensive actions, almost all of them successful. Airplay, everything. Was mad successful. He, so to begin the analysis with is to understand why Manchester City lost. Well, at least what I think caused it. And I'm gonna show you why I think they lost. And it comes down to their system and their shape. As you can tell, this is what they tried to do. To isolate the not to isolate, no, to create a huge attacking mass that would push forward into Real Madrid, overwhelm the back line, and win. One small problem, they left Rodri alone. By leaving Rodri alone in the midfield, they forced their wingbacks to be inverted wingbacks, leaving the two defenders to be the only guys to be defending. The wingbacks. So to explain better why I think this was a bad decision is because you would have this situation oftentimes. You have the situation oftentimes, and there's one small there's multiple problems. There is multiple problems, and I don't. I'll try to explain them to my best of abilities. Rodri, first of all, and Silva were in disadvantage because Chouameni and Pitat and Thiago and Brahim didn't have fear to be encasing them in a triangle. They didn't have fear to be fighting for it. Well, Vinicius stayed up here. Vinicius stayed up here to press whenever he wanted. By allowing us to have only one guy pressing up top, we had effectively 9 men defending. And I'm saying that we defended pretty well. And I think one of the best examples of good defending this match is the situation with Doku. At all times, Doku had 3 people on him. After the first 50 minutes when Doku just ransacked this zone and kept passing behind, and somehow City didn't score for I don't know what reasons, Madrid was suffering the first 50 minutes. But after the first goal, which is a wonder goal, I'll explain it on video, this zone was completely tightly locked. 3 people were responsible of keeping Doku away because if Haaland was just ghosting. I expect Guardiola to understand that this combination of Rudiger and Haaland isn't working well, and that Silva is blocked by Tchouaméni, and that this situation always had one man to man, and Brahim was just the extra man that could press in every zone. So Madrid was just doing pretty well in defensive formation, and the reason why they lost is because, well, you know who was impressed? Rodri, and he was alone. He could only play with the right backs. He could only play with the backs, just the left backs, the right back. He could just do this. Because when he passed here, Guller would intercept. When he passed here, Guller would intercept and they would help. And now poor Savinho is in a 2v1 and Brahim would come down. And in essence, Rodri was left alone in the midfield. He was the only creator. By putting Silva as a third, fifth striker, whatever was Guardiola trying to do, they left Rodri alone. And Rodri had to manage the entire midfield on his own. Rodri was the one with the space here. But only him, because no one could. And still, he couldn't put the ball here. He couldn't put it into space. This whole zone was freed up. And Rodri couldn't do it because he was alone. And this is why City lost, because they overestimated Rodri's abilities to manage the midfield single-handedly. And they underestimated Madrid and put 5 of their attackers behind. This is why they lost. This is the reason they lost. And now we'll go over video analysis and whatever. So this is the first goal, as you can see. We have the perfect run. I'm telling you, this is the perfect run. Courtois just does clearance, but he finds Federico on his own pitch, by the way, onside, and Federico is just running, and the touch is just perfect. Perfect energy. And he does perfectly here. Puts it just wide of Donnarumma. Memorizes where the net is. Just kicks it in. Fantastic. Then we have the next video to analyze. So we have here the next video, which is the second goal, as expected. We have Brahim searching for opportunities. Here I wanted to criticize something. Brahim was looking for a pass to the front, hoping Vinicius was to win a run. He didn't find it. Vinicius has to correct that because in this case, Brahim is right. But I guess it didn't really matter because the action ended up being a goal. So Vinicius, I have to admire, does a great run. He goes a bit, he confuses a bit, and then he does a good pass that is slightly intercepted by Ruben Diaz, but it doesn't do enough because Valverde just runs in, is still running. By the way, I have to detail something. Valverde is doing the job of a striker. He is here. He's doing the unsuspecting run, running into the middle. The whole defense is being dragged by Vinicius. He's running into that space. He's doing the job of a striker. He strikes it from the wide post, from the far post, from the near post to the far post, with a goalkeeper like Donnarumma in the middle. Insane. Valverde had the balls on the field everywhere. He was everywhere at once. He played as a wide winger in the first goal. And then in the second goal, he played as a striker. So the second goal is better. Vinicius does the third goal. The third goal is good. Vinicius does his normal runs. He loves to do these runs. I have to detail. He always loves to take on defenders like this. Run fast throughout the wing and then cut in, have the situation, and then do this to do finish it into the corner. But then what happens next? Thiago has it here, does pretty well, buys some time, passes it to Brahim, does a good run. But then Brahim sees the perfect pass, and Valverde just does something incredible. Un sombrerito. Why is he doing this? Who does he think he is? And then he hits it on the volley. This guy just took out Marc Gueye in one single action and then just scored it from a volley. A hat trick of a striker. He felt like Cristiano Ronaldo. That's the hat trick of Federico Valverde. And now let's talk about the thing we have to criticize Vinicius of. The penalty. So what happens here is that Vinicius does a good technique. I don't know how to say it in English, but basically this jump here is to confuse the goalkeeper. When you jump here, and I heard it from, my source is Oyarzabal. In Onda Cero, I don't remember which radio I was hearing, but my source is Oyarzabal. In this jump, you're supposed, as the striker, to see where the goalkeeper is moving. Instead, Vinicius is looking down. He jumps and he's looking down at the ball. He should have been seeing where Donnarumma was trying to dive. That's how that works. And in this case, Vinicius just didn't do it. And Donnarumma just read his intentions. So to correct the mistake, Vinicius first, before kicking, should have looked down, look at the keeper, like in this jump, in the air here. Let me just slow it down a bit. In the air here, at that point, he should have known where Donnarumma was. Or at least by the technique, he should have known where Donnarumma was going. Instead, he's looking down, which very easily savable by a goalkeeper of Donnarumma's class. To finish off the video, I want to give my prediction for the Champions League, and it has to do a lot with this guy. Bodo Glimt from Norway is gonna be the greatest dark horse of a Champions League we're gonna see in a while. Forget Porto. If they somehow manage to reach the final, the greatest dark horse in a town from the Arctic Circle is fighting in Europe and has beaten Manchester City, has beaten Inter Milan, and beaten Sporting. Eliminated Inter from the Champions League, and it's looking like he's about to do it to Sporting. What is going on? I'm not saying Sporting is the best club to compare, but they beat Manchester City and they did beat Inter Milan. I assume their home advantage must be the insane. I don't think anyone wants to be there in like -1 degree trying to play football at such a high level, and then you go against a team that always plays in -1 degree. I guess it's a bit of home advantage, but still it's just insane what they're doing. What they did. What they have done. What they're doing. Of course, I also want to predict that PSG is gonna pass. I'm gonna do my predictions. PSG is gonna pass. PSG is gonna pass. Real Madrid, I still don't fully trust Real Madrid. I am still very skeptical of Real Madrid. Because yeah, today we beat the crap out of them. But we're very capable of losing by 4 goals. Or at the very least, losing 3-0 and being saved by penalties. I don't trust this team. They gave me hope, but I don't trust this team at all. I'm very sorry, but I don't think this team is gonna win. Still, I'll say Real Madrid passes because I love Real Madrid. Atletico Madrid passes all day. Galatasaray Liverpool. This is gonna be an interesting one because Galatasaray just beat Liverpool at home, of course. What will happen when they reach Anfield and they have to fight a fully fledged Liverpool? I don't know if Liverpool can win because they've had a awful season, but maybe they could win. Maybe they could win. Of course, I also have to talk about Barcelona. I think this one could go either way. I'm gonna put Barcelona to pass because it's just Barcelona. But I feel like Newcastle has a good chance. Has a good chance to pass. Leverkusen, Arsenal. Look, it's the same situation with the Barcelona game. And it could go both ways. Probably Leverkusen played way better, but they couldn't score goals, and then Arsenal got a penalty, and then now they're tied to go to away. And of course, I think that's all for today. Really, we talked about Champions League. We talked about Thiago. Thiago has been special. I didn't have videos to analyze, but Thiago is special. Expect a video soon on him when he eventually scores a goal and I get to analyze him. But today he had 39 passes, 94 accuracy, 100% accuracy on long passes, and did not lose the ball once without taking into account that one mistake that could have been a 3-1, really 3-1 for Manchester City. So, yeah, I think this is all for today. Thank you for hearing.